Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something.
I wasn't expecting that either.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
And it feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light, when you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake. So you said that you had an idea for something you wanted to. Was there a part you wanted to work with? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see. I'll just start with the issue and see how the part develops.
Okay.
So let's see. I'll tell you about all my chronic problems. So last time we talked about my chronic list making. My other different, unrelated, but even longer chronic problem is I have chronic back pain. And I have had back pain since as long as I can remember, for more than 15 years. And it hurts every day. I'd say it hurts every day. I don't necessarily think about it every day. I've rearranged enough things in my life and in my habits that I don't have really bad days very much anymore. Maybe once every 3 or 6 months I'll do something stupid and it'll be real bad for a couple of days, but it's kind of low level enough that I can kind of not think about it most of the time. And but I just realized quite recently, but it's always there, and to some degree, and it always affects everything, I think. And that's been kind of my recent revelation is it affects every movement I make, and of course chronic pain is very comorbid with chronic anxiety and depression, and it just kind of occurred to me oh, maybe I really would be a different person if I even if it's at just a level 1 or 2 out of 10, would I be have a lot less anxiety or depression or whatever negative emotion if I got it to an actual 0? Is that possible? So I just kind of was thinking about all that recently. And and so the part that I think I would like to get to know and understand is the part that says, that lets that fester for 15 years. The part that says, no, we don't really need to like prioritize that.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
The part that lets that fester for 15 years and says that I don't need to prioritize that.
Okay. The pain.
Yeah. It was like, you talk about like you take care of the dog that you want it to be comfortable. Like that's primary. And I think about that too. It's like, yeah, if I had a pet that was in pain, like I would want to get rid of it altogether. If I had a kid who was in pain, like I don't feel like I would be okay if it was just reduced and stayed there. But for myself, I have a part that says it's good enough, and like we don't need to complete this project, or we can't complete it. Yeah, so that's the part.
Okay.
And just to let you know, because this is like a chronic thing, I got 100 thoughts and 100 parts that want to chime in and add their 2 cents. And I've spent so much time thinking about it that I'm going to try not to, but it's easy for me to like want to find 100 different reasons to rationalize. Well, here's this, here's that. And kind of, I get carried away easily.
Yeah. Well, it's something that's been going on for a long time, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
So do you want to turn towards the part now, or do you want to...
Yeah, I'll try. We'll try that.
Yeah, okay. And can you tell me if there are any sensations in your body, or if you can locate it in your body?
Okay. Yeah, it's the part that says, it's kind of like procrastinates, or it says like, yeah, we don't need to go all the way with this. I'm seeing like a very small person, like not even a foot tall kind of part that's just, it's kind of just okay with being small. It's like, yeah, don't look this way because it's just no big deal. Just kind of got that no big deal feeling to it.
Okay.
Or like it's trying to avoid attention. But as far as where I feel it in the body, I don't have a very good read on that right now.
Okay. And how close are you to the part?
I can get close, within 10 feet, within 6 feet.
And how do you feel towards the part?
I feel estranged. Like we don't, like this part's whole job is to not be noticed. That's kind of how it shows up or doesn't show up. And it's kind of like, it's almost like it wants me to be distracted. And
doesn't
want attention. Yeah. And how I feel towards it is, yeah, that's where I feel like I could say 100 things. I have 100 different feelings towards it. Part of me is compassionate, and then part of me is like ashamed, and then part of me is like, I don't know, disappointed, and then like all kinds of stuff going on.
So do you want to ask those other parts, the ashamed and disappointed and all those other parts, if they'd be willing to step back and relax so you can give this other part some attention?
Yeah. Okay. I'm getting kind of confused because I don't know if this part is like, if this part is the pain. And it's like, okay, well, we ignore the pain, or if this is the part telling me to ignore the pain. Like, yeah. So, yeah, that's interesting. So, yeah, I think I need to talk to the part that's telling me to ignore the pain.
Okay.
So,
what does that part want you to know?
Yeah.
Or do you want to ask it what it wants you to know?
Yeah, so telling me to. So, I don't have a good read on it. I feel like I need to back up and get closer to it or get a better read on it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's the part that tells me that to not prioritize this. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of a manager part. It's kind of a busy part, and it's kind of like that other busy list making part in that it's got other things to do, and
yeah,
it's sometimes it's explicitly saying don't pay any more attention to this, and other times it's just doing other stuff.
Yeah.
It's like kind of makes sense. It's got other stuff to do. So yeah. So yeah, now I can feel it more where it's kind of a pushing on my chest feeling of get moving, get some stuff done, and this doesn't qualify as stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And is this the same part that you described was the small person, less than a foot?
Yes, I think I was able to distinguish that there. Yeah. Short answer, yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And are there other parts still chiming in, or have they agreed to give space?
The only other parts I think you're chiming in are just my own like embarrassment or confusion about having difficulty like locating this. But
Okay.
but I can ask them for space, and that's fine.
Okay. They said that's fine to give. They'll give you space.
Yeah, they're all clear.
So are you ready to ask the part what it wants you to know?
Yeah. Okay, it has a lot to say. So one thing is it's saying that there's a lot of stuff to do. There are a lot of other projects that are, I don't know, I'll just say legitimately, at least in its mind, of higher importance. And it's also saying that, you know, this problem is particularly like sticky. I mean, I just picked up a book about it yesterday, and the author says like, this could take 10 years to work out. You know, that's like where that's where he starts with patience is like, yeah,
oh my gosh,
you know, sure, you can feel better soon, but like if you really want to like fix this particular problem, 10 years is a reasonable kind of timeline. So
wow.
So that's what it has to say, is just that it doesn't know how to prioritize it. And there's too many other projects that are always competing for prioritization.
Do you want to ask the part if it wants to tell you any more about its role, or how it got the role, or is there anything else that he wants you to know?
Yeah, it feels like this part is telling me that it's embarrassed, that it doesn't feel like it's doing a good job prioritizing projects. And that it doesn't have the tools, or it doesn't have the maybe the leadership from me, or the information or something to prioritize this. And I don't mean to put this at the top of the priority. I mean to put it in the right place is what it's saying.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. Yep.
Do you want to ask the part how old it is?
How old it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hearing kind of like 30, late 20s, 30. I'm later 30s in reality. I think that time of my life was when I really started having more serious responsibilities and needing to get real about priorities. and feeling like I didn't have the tools then, and I didn't have the support then, and didn't know what I was doing. So yeah, feels like that.
Yeah.
And then another part comes up, which is just sadness. It's sad. It's the part feels sad. I feel sad about, there's sadness about like why, like just all the layers of this. When you have a problem that goes on for a long time, it's kind of like, yeah, how does this happen? Where's the support network? How many times would I have, for example, talked to my parents about my back pain, and like what they did and didn't do to help me. So that kind of all comes up.
Yeah.
So
is that the same part, or that's a different part?
It's a different part. So that's like that's like a grieving part, which I really have tried to work with in the past. Like, to me, that's one of my most valuable parts, is like appropriate grief. Like, hey, when something's sad, you got to be sad about it. And like, it's the real tragedy is when sad things happen and we don't pretend, and we pretend like they're not sad. So I really value that part of myself of like, I can get sad about things that deserve it,
Yeah. Do you want to let that part know?
Yeah. We're feeling good there about being recognized. It's feeling good about being recognized.
Okay. Cool. Do you want to talk a little more to the target part?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Do you want to ask it what it's afraid will happen if he stops being small and playing this role of not prioritizing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the first thing that came that I heard was kind of a fear of success kind of feeling. And so there's it's like I got hundreds of projects on the project list, and most of them just kind of don't get finished. And so in some ways, this is kind of like that, where it's like plenty of times I've put my mind to this as a project. It's like, okay, I'm going to rally some energy around this. I'm going to prioritize this. This matters. And it just doesn't really, it still doesn't really like rise to the level of, okay, what's the deadline? What's the metric? Like how much am I willing to spend on this? How do I know when it's done? Those kind of hard measurements. That, I think, and yeah, just knowing what done looks like. So, what was the question that I was?
What is it afraid of? Afraid will happen if it doesn't do its job.
Yeah. Right. So if I were to be really good at prioritizing things, including this back pain, then it might just get done. Yeah. And if it gets done, I have to do other stuff that's harder. Yeah. That's fear of success. Yep. Yeah.
And it sounds like you get that, you relate to it.
Yeah, I think it might be an ADD thing too. It's like there's some fear of like finishing projects.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll do a lot of things like 80% of the way, and then I don't know, don't finish them. Something about finishing it. I I don't really want to know the outcome. I don't really want to see it, done or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense then why that part is so small. It's saying, I don't want to be recognized.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
And if you finish these projects, you might be recognized. I mean, it sounds like that's
if I finish these projects, if I finish the projects, it'll have to take on more projects. I think that's kind of more of the problem. It's like you don't get rewarded for completing things. You get punished by here's more stuff to do. So
okay,
there's kind of it's the stay small mentality. It likes to stay small and have small ongoing problems. Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling towards the part right now?
Compassionate. I get it.
Do you want to show the part your appreciation for what it's been doing for you?
I'm having trouble with appreciating it much, but I do have the compassion for it. I feel like I get it.
Okay. Would you recommend right now, I'm asking for advice, that I ask any more questions about that? Or do you think we should go to the unburdening, if it didn't have to do its job?
Let me see. Let me just see what intuitively I feel like going towards. I'd like to go on to that if it didn't have to do its job kind of thing.
Okay, good. So do you want to ask the part if it didn't have to do with the job that it's doing now, what it might do?
Yeah. It works harder. I don't know how to put this in words. It does feel like it works harder playing small and having 100 open projects than not. So it would prefer to. It would have less stress of juggling projects if they got done, and it would actually get to work. It would actually be nicer for it.
And do you want to ask him what it might want to do instead?
It likes prioritizing. It likes being a project manager.
Okay.
It just, I feel like I'm jumping ahead because it's telling me what it needs from me.
Okay. That's all right.
Yeah. Which is just, it's leadership. It needs permission to focus on very few things. And it needs leadership it needs more information when it comes to prioritizing. I got to write those down because they're going to slip away.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think I need to stay with this question and get kind of more detailed.
Okay.
So when I ask it what it needs from me, it says, sometimes it really does need more information. So like when projects, again, this all does kind of come back to like back pain, including back pain. But yeah, like I don't have the right information, then it's really easy to just put the project on a back burner.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have the right information, then it can still go on a back burner, but it's like more productive. It's like, okay, well, I can sleep on it. I can whatever, but
right.
Get the information and then decide. And so a lot of times I kind of fall short. Like, I don't know, like with this back pain thing, you know, I've spent 100 hours or more in the past 6 months or a year, or like I really have tried to focus more on this, but but despite all that, like, you know, there's only a handful of like real top experts on the subject where everyone's like, get this book, get that book. There's maybe 3 guys who are like the leading guys, and you know, for some reason, like I kind of stopped after like 1 or 2. Like I could have, you know, just spent a week and learned the basics of each of them. But instead, I kind of like, okay, well, I'll just watch a bunch of YouTubes on this guy, or, you know, it just wasn't quite the right informational approach.
Yeah.
Which is a tough subject with the world of the internet and all that. But yeah, like, why didn't I get that book? Well, you know, I got that book a year ago when I first heard about it. That would have been nice. And I don't know why I didn't. Well, I was trying to save $40 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's kind of a yeah, there's a part of me that doesn't feel, it has trouble justifying that expense, whether it's the $40 or whether it's whatever, of like, get the right information. At least the information should be that should be the inexpensive part. Should be go to the library and get the top 3 books instead of like scrolling through YouTube day after day and just seeing garbage, you know?
You sound a little frustrated.
I'm only frustrated about, thank you for picking up on that. I guess I'm just frustrated about I don't know. There's like, I'm hearing from this part, and I do want to work on this, and at the same time, I'm trying to stay within an IFS paradigm, and I get sometimes frustrated when I don't know how much of this is IFS talk to the part about. And so, yeah, I'm trying to stick with that question of what does this part need from me? So, yeah, just fleshing that out a little bit is important.
Do you want to ask the part how he feels now, if he feels like you get it, or if there's more that he wants you to know?
Yeah, he feels like I get it, but he's also, it's that same feeling of, he's a little distrustful that I will be able to implement this.
Yeah.
It's all just so much easier said than done. And, you know, it's like, oh, well, it's at the front of both of our minds. We're having this conversation about it. You know, we're doing all this stuff. Great job. But what does that mean for like tomorrow? What does that mean for all of the projects and how I approach them? And that's where I think the second thing that I got from this part was about permission to do a lot fewer at a time.
Yeah.
So, you know, when it comes to like my health, I got 2 or 3 other projects under the health heading.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to prioritize. It's like, well, I also got allergies, you know, and I need to go get an allergy test or whatever. Like there's other stuff that's totally unrelated. And I get hung up on this like need to prioritize it and need to like, rather than just pick one and go do it. So finding a way to eliminate the 195 projects and just stick with 5 until they're done.
Yeah. How does that sound to you and to the part?
Again, it all sounds nice. The part says, yeah, it sounds nice.
Just not sure about the follow through.
Yeah. There's so many resources out there, so many people, podcasts or stuff I listen to about, you know, minimalism and like focusing on the main thing. And, you know, I try to coach people around that. I feel like I know all the tips and tricks, and still don't feel like I actually do it. So,
do you think there's another part involved that's keeping you from prioritizing the way you want to?
Yes, that's a good question. I think that would be where I need to dig deeper, and maybe not in this conversation, but sometime, is going back to that kind of fear of success thing, because I think that's the anytime I hear like the fear parts come up, I kind of assume that's more in the realm of exiles.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I can get wrapped up in these conversations of like, okay, well, how will I prioritize it? How will I narrow this down? And at the end of the day, you can do that all day long, but you still have to have that courage to do the thing. You know, even if I do say, okay, here's my 5 projects, and I've done that plenty of times. Every quarter I do something like that. I say, here's my 5 projects. I'm going to do these, you know, I'm not going to focus on this other stuff. And I rarely feel like I knock them out of the park or really complete them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I would ask that we probably try to go there maybe in our next conversation, just in the interest of time. And I think last time we talked, there was another kind of bookmark I mentioned, but I don't have it in front of me. Maybe I can find it on my phone.
You did actually mention fear of success last time.
Yeah. Yes, I did. And then I sent you a text and I said that would be the thing to bookmark. Okay, so yeah, the fact that that's come up twice, yeah, I think we need to just go straight for it. I would say next time, just because it's been a long day and a long call already.
Yeah.
And also, if I bookmark it in my own head, and I'll set a reminder so that I can like think about it before the call and not. And yeah, we can try to go straight for it. See what comes up along the way, of course.
So how does the target part for today feel about, do you want to ask it how it feels about this plan of, okay, it's important, we're going to try to dig deeper next time? How does the part feel about that?
Well, I think it's the protector of that. So it doesn't want to necessarily do that at all. It wants to talk. Okay. It wants to talk about what app I should use to prioritize my projects better. So, yeah, we're gonna have to. I mean, I can let that part know at least ahead of time. I can let that part know that I'd like to have less of the conversation about that I'm kind of used to of having with it, of what's the best way to put projects on a list. Yeah. And to get to that deeper thing.
Well, it's ultimately to help that part, right? Because the part is asking for the tools and the information. And, it sounds like if we work with this other part, it's going to help.
Yeah. And
today's part.
I think that if I can work with the part that has what I'm calling a fear of success, then projects can actually get done. And then that protector part will have less work to do.
Yeah. So how do you recommend ending it now?
Well, I would ask me if it feels like my work is complete with this part, which again, it kind of feels like it's never complete. And I think it's because I need to go that deeper thing. And then the only other thing I would say is important in the end of this conversation is that you and I are saying, okay, we have a plan for next call that we're going to stick to. So
okay,
that's I'll put a note on my calendar for that. And if you don't mind doing something similar so that we can make sure to go there.
Yes, I made a note too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is it important to thank the part? Because I know that's part of the conclusion.
Yeah, I like to thank all of them. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you recommend that I do as the practitioner? Okay.
No, I'll let you know that I've taken some notes, and I I wasn't really able to like relay it all, but I feel good, and I feel like I have some real next action steps for, you know, our conversations like we just talked about, but also there's a couple of things I can see myself doing a little differently to address the primary, or the first thing that came up, which is just, how do I prioritize this, and how do I make sure that projects get finished. So I do have some insights there that I didn't want to like go into more detail rambling about. So it was good.
Okay, good. Oh,
I know, exciting, huh?
yeah, it's exciting.
It's really
less nervous.
Yeah,
go ahead.
You sounded good. It's really it's hard to know what the other person's really going through. I mean, that's like every call I have is, you know, I'm sitting there with my map, but they're in a whole world of their own, and how much they can share, how much they want to share. It's kind of like, it's really all you can do is kind of trust the process and bring the right energy. I don't know.
Cool.
I think there's also a lot of value in just having the conversation. It's like the practitioner doesn't have to say all the right things, you know. Just being willing to sit with somebody and their parts, and sit with them while they work it out with their parts, can be where the magic is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because it really is all about you and getting in touch. It's like the practitioner being just a guide.
Yeah, and staying curious, which I think you're great at.
Thanks. All right, so I'll talk to you in a couple days.
Hope so. Thank you for your time tonight. It was nice talking with you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Zikri, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation, or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.